Hello, everybody, and thank you so very much for coming today and taking time out of probably what is a very busy time at the start of the academic year to come to this online freshers event. Um, yes, we are HISA, or the Highlands and Islands Students Association. And we are, of course, run by students for students. And we're here to make your student experience the best it can be while you're here as UHI students. So I'm going to pass over to Shannon.
Lovely. So thank you all for coming as well. So who are we? What do we do? So your Students Association's in place to represent, empower and support all of the students at UHI. We exist to kind of help you find your people, your passion, your place, whether that be joining a society, which we'll talk about a little bit later, or coming to events that we hold, or finding networks. And day to day, we've got, as I said, societies and clubs. We've also got events, representation, campaigning, advice, all these kind of big things that cover your student life. So we're led by you. We're all students, all of the officers anyway, and we are here if you need advice or any support. And it's important to remember that we are completely independent from the university, and that when you join UHI, you also are automatically a member of HISA.
Next slide, please. So, a little bit about us and our key values and our aims. So we're about to launch our new strategy. So some of you who are returning students may know what this is. Some of you who are new here may not have a Scooby. So we have developed this in consultation with students across UHI over the last academic year, and students have told us this is what we want from you. And we've gone, cool, let's do that then. So over the next 3 years, we're going to be focusing over three main areas. So students at the heart of decision making at UHI, well, yous are the students, and UHI is the place that you're studying. So of course, you need to be at the heart of the decisions that UHI make, because you're the key people that will be coming in and out of UHI. So student communities and inclusion, we want to make sure that you have the communities and you're included within all that. So your time as students is the best that it can be, and you can feel that you have the facilities to be part of all the communities that you want to be a part of while you're here as a student, but also support and facilities for all students. So making sure that if you need support with your mental health, you have the proper facilities to get that support. But if you need support with your education, you have that support. Everything to do with support and making sure you have the facilities to get that, we're going to strive to make sure that you get that over the next 3 years. And our current values as an organization are student driven. Well, we're a student organization. I'd hope we're a student driven organization. Supportive, sustainable, and inclusive. Next slide, please. And it's back to Shannon.
So you can see that we cover quite a large area. Our kind of tagline joke that William and I end up saying at every conference is that we cover the size of Belgium, which is very interesting and very cool. But you can see how widely spread we are, all the way from UHI Shetland, UHI Perth. You can see kind of the big spread on this map here. So this means that even if you're based at kind of a smaller centre, you can influence decisions where you study, of course, yeah, but also your wider and all of the other academic partners. So even if you're based in a small centre within the Northwestern Hebrides, you can influence decisions and positive change for students all the way in Inverness or Orkney. So we're run completely democratically. So every spring, students like yourselves can step forward to be elected to represent your students, or you can also take part in the elections by voting for who you would like to represent you. We also work with kind of the Scottish government and within Scottish education to fight for wider change for all students. within the wider student movement.
Next slide, please. Wow, it's almost like you can hear and see these two people, and we haven't even introduced ourselves yet, and that is very rude of us. So, um, my name's William, and I'm your Student Association President for this coming academic year. And everything that I cover includes representation, campaigning at a cross-campus level, so the whole of UHI, making sure that you as students campaign for the change that you want to see, but also campaigning at a national level as well. So within the National Union of Students, any kind of key contacts that I have, I'll be that kind of main contact within the Students Association within UHI. To kind of make sure that you as students within UHI have that national-wide representation. And I'll pass over to Shannon to give a little bit of a kind of rundown on what she does and who she is.
Hello, so I am Shannon. I'm your Vice President of Education. How our system works, so I'm the only Vice President. So although my remit covers everything a little bit more education, quality-based, I cover a little bit of everything as well. Personally, I'm based in Fort William, so I spend a lot of time traveling around. And previously, I was a deputy president, so I worked part-time for West Highland and then Northwest and Hebrides after that transition. So yeah, I cover a little bit of everything. I work really closely with William. We also do kind of all the boring behind the scenes things and sit on all the big boards and make sure that your views are getting represented widely in big decision making senses.
Yeah, so as both of us says, we make up your cross-campus officer team for 2024, 2025, but that doesn't stop there. As we'll go on to say just in a little bit, we don't only represent you across campus level, and you will have local officers that represent you across the board, and you'll know who that local representation is. But myself, I started as Inverness president. I started as student voice rep. And I kind of built my way up, and here I am now as president. How did I get here? I started as a little shy person in a little classroom where a student association staff member came in and said, I think you'd be good as a class rep. And next thing you know, I am here. So there is the story of me. Next slide, please. That. Yes, I think it is me again. Wow, you're getting a double whammy from me this time. So yeah, students at each academic partner, as I just said, can elect local officers to represent you where you study. And as you can see on the top of the screen, it has a little link to our website, but also we could put that link in the chat where you can see all the academic partners within UHI and the officers that are elected there that represent you locally. These local officers, they make sure that your views and ideas influence decisions where you study. So if you study at UHI Inverness, you have two officers there that work really hard to make sure that you get your views represented at that college level. But also, if you study at UHI Shetland, you have a wonderful officer there that represents you at a Shetland level. So we have local officers across UHI to make sure that your views and your ideas influence decisions wherever you study. And they also work with student voice reps across the board to make sure that your opinions and concerns are heard. Alongside myself and Shannon, the local officers make up what we call the executive officer team. And this team meets every month to ensure that all students across UHI are equally represented across the board, and we make sure that students' views and students' ideas are brought to this group and we implement that across UHI, or we can implement that into sections. So if, say, I don't know, Inverness, Murray, and Shetland all have specific issues that are happening, we can work to make sure that we're doing a specific targeted campaign there for those three specific areas. So I think you can get the gist that we can be quite flexible in the way that we can support students. So we can support students at a local level, but we can also support students at a UHI wide level. And all minutes of our meetings that we have are shared on our website. So it's all transparent and all our members, user students, can see what we get up to as officers in these meetings. Next slide, please, and over to Shannon.
Perfect. So here are just some of just a tiny kind of snippet of all the really cool things that we've done recently. So this is an example of changes that you can see that you guys are making. A lot of the work that we do is kind of directed by you guys. Yes, we kind of all officers start with a manifesto, but a lot of the positive change that you'll see will be influenced by your feedback and things that you've come to us with. So your student voice reps and work really closely with your officers. We'll talk about student voice reps in a second. And so even if you aren't a student voice rep, you can see something with your classes. Say, for example, you would love your online lectures to be recorded and they're not being recorded right now. That's something you could bring to your student voice rep, and then they would bring to our meetings, and we can try and achieve this change together. So we have student voice kind of rep council meetings. These happen every single month. They're really fun to get involved with. And that's where all of your issues will be brought to. Lovely. If we can move on to the next slide, we will uncover what those mythical SVRs are. Lovely. So your student voice reps. So as William kind of talked about, there's a little bit of a pyramid. It's not a pyramid scheme. That's different and a legal form of marketing. But so our student voice reps, you guys are volunteers, and they're super, super at the heart of what we do. As I said before, student voice reps kind of influence what we do because they're the students on the ground. They're the ones collecting all of the valuable information that we need to find out what you guys need done, what you need changed. So being an SVR, why do it? It's also really great for your CV, enhances your chances for future employment. Or you also might end up doing the route that myself and William have done, where you start as an SVR just because you're a little bit interested. Maybe there's something that bugs you about one of your classes that you want to change. And eventually you work up to then being an officer, or maybe a full-time officer with us, which is really fun. So our student voice reps get involved in loads of different things, a lot. So you can kind of direct this again by what you're interested in. If you want to just collect data on what is going well and not going well with your class, that's cool. If you want to get involved in events, that's also great. We're always up for a hand. So it's kind of whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get out of it. So if you don't have a lot of time, completely understand, being a student super busy, you can kind of just attend those meetings. Or if you want to be super involved and get loads out of it, that's amazing too. And if you've got that extra time, go for it. You also might get the opportunity to sit on kind of academic committees and working groups to get your say across with UHI staff. And it's a great opportunity to work as a team and build loads of different leadership skills.
Next slide, please. Wow. So, hi. Literally, hi. Our monthly newsletter. So, wow, I'm being so corny. This is where we highlight our key activities, events, and campaigns and supports that we do each month. It's a new thing that we started at the end of last academic year, and we had a really good run of it. It was really successful. And we decided, you know what, this is something that students liked and students opened, and we were like, cool, let's continue doing it. So our monthly newsletter has all the highs and news to keep you up to date with all the student life at your local academic partner. Each issue has a student-friendly recipe, which I love, and a puzzle for when you need to take a break from studying. Firsthand, I know that sometimes you can just get so like in depth into your studying that you can just lose touch with everything. Doing this puzzle takes up like that 20 minutes away from that studying that makes or breaks that kind of study session, and then you can go back to it and absolutely boss it. Look out for our special Freshers edition that's coming out. If you also want to ever submit an article, or if you have any ideas at all about what should be involved in the newsletter, please do get in touch with a local team. There should be an office on campus, or you can submit your ideas to the email that's on blah, 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 blah. You can also submit it to the email below, but I'll also put it in the chat as well. Next slide, please. Student meetings. So we hold student meetings on a regular basis throughout the years. This is separate to student voice rep meetings. And this is to consult with you as students and to get feedback on important issues to you. Some of the issues that we've highlighted last academic year that were quite important to students, that we got some really good feedback and we're able to funnel that into some of the campaigns and activities that we've done throughout the year, included action short of strike. So how this impacted the student experience and how students felt that the strike action and the action short of strike affected their learning. But then leading on to that, the future of learning at UHI, what that's going to look like. Obviously, after COVID, a lot of things started moving online. So we wanted to get a lot of student views about what online learning looked like, if they liked it, if they didn't like it. And we got a lot of feedback around that. We set up an online network. We've got a little bit more coming up around about how online students can engage with us, and a little bit about our online student network. So we kind of got information from that, which we built into the stuff that we're doing, but also building communities at UHI, which is something that further enhanced our work into some of our networks that we have, which will be talked about a little bit later on as well. So what students want from their campuses, their learning spaces, and how our clubs and societies can assist students in developing or enhancing their skills. So our student meetings are vital in getting your consultation and your feedback in some really important topics that may come out throughout the academic year. So you'll get information through your student email, through social media, but please do stay in touch when you get these kind of info, and please click on any links and sign up for any of these events, because it is a really good, useful kind of feedback session for us to kind of loop that into any of the sessions that we do with the university or any of the colleges. Next slide, please. And over to Shannon, I think.
Lovely. So freshers events, discounts, and getting started, all of the really fun stuff that you get to experience when you first come to college or uni. So we've got loads of information right now up on our website. So this includes stuff about how to access UHI induction resources, all the stuff that they can kind of provide. And we've also got loads of fun study tips in there. And I'm pretty sure there's a video of me that's quite funny. So I recommend watching it. I think my intro at the start is really good. Also, our freshers newsletter was sent out already. Have a look back in your emails to get that, and if not, I believe it'll be on the website as well. And we're also going to start getting lots of student discounts and stuff up on this page. Everyone loves a discount. Being a student's hard, it's very expensive, and we're going to get loads of fun stuff on the website there as well. This is also where we advertise a lot of our events, a lot of our online events, things like this, which is great, especially if you're a student that is studying primarily online or is quite far away from a campus, or if you just prefer to socialize with people online, because that's totally cool. I get that as well. That's where all of the fun stuff is. And I'm going to pass over to the wonderful Elena.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for that, guys. So just I'm going to look to discuss what the advice service is. But before I do that, I know we've been kind of talking at you with some information, and it's a lot to take in. So I'd like to hear about from the students, or even anyone here in general, just about roughly what they're studying and where they're studying, just so I have an idea, and how I can make kind of the advice service a bit more tailored. Could you just type that in the chat? It would just be great to hear from some of you, just where you're studying and what course you're doing. sound production. That's cool. If you prefer to say it live, then that's fine. I don't know if the officers want to share what courses they studied, so students can kind of hear what sort of things they were up to before they were officers.
Yeah, I can chat about this a little bit. So I started originally with UHI in 2015. I did a flexible course whilst I was still in school on horse care, and then ended up doing it for 3 years and kind of working my way up the levels, like super part-time, kind of 1 day a week things. And then I was going to move away from my hometown, which is Fort William, and then I realized I actually didn't need to leave at all, and I could do a super cool degree. So I have a degree in adventure tourism management, which is super niche, which UHI is really good at doing.
I can also talk a little bit about my kind of academic journey as well. 2016, I joined Inverness College, done sports therapy, decided, nah, not for me, went into full-time hospitality. Then the pandemic happened and went, overworked, underpaid, maybe not. So I decided to go back to Inverness College and do my HNC in social sciences. And now I am in obviously I'm doing my sabbatical years as president, but I'm in my Bachelor of Arts honours years as in politics.
That's great. Thanks, William and Shannon. I think it shows kind of everyone that's here. We've all kind of taken different paths into academics and decided kind of what works and what doesn't for us. And I guess to explain what the advice service really does is we're kind of a voice of reflection in helping you kind of find support. So I just want you to have a think about, who do you approach in your life about advice? Is that maybe a parent, a guardian, a partner, a psychic? It could be anyone really. But I think with the advice service, what I want to kind of underline is that the advice service is something that it has been made exclusively for students within UHI. So whether you're on campus or you're studying remotely, I'm here to support you as best as possible. So who is this person? Who is this voice? Well, my name is Elena. I'm the advice service coordinator and the sole caseworker. So when you contact the advice service, 9 times out of 10, you will just get me on the other side. So I'm here to help. In terms of my background, just in a nutshell, I have studied law at Stirling. Prior to that, I did legal services at City of Glasgow College. And before that, I did a degree for psychology in University of Glasgow. So I've kind of been back and forth. If you want to read a bit more about my background, learn more maybe about my pets or anything like that, I'll pop that in the chat and you can find out a bit more about me. But I want to talk about the advice service. So the advice service is actually, I like to consider, a relatively new service to HISA and to UHI, because we've only been around for about 2.5 years. It's a service that offers free, confidential, and impartial advice to all UHI students. So that doesn't matter if you're an NCNQ student or even a postgraduate student or PhD student. It's something that I can provide advice to. So it could be, what sort of things can we provide advice for? So as the slide there lists, academic matters, disciplinary hearings, mitigating circumstances, complaints, fitness to practice if that applies to you. So for example, if you're a nursing student, a teaching student, etc., that's something maybe you heard about during your inductions. And now I'm also offering advice around housing. So whether you live in student halls or in private tenancies, so if you're talking about your landlord, disrepair, if you want someone to look at your tenancy agreement and just check to make sure things are okay, that's something I can provide. I've gone through my Shelter Scotland training very recently, and I've received their accreditation to offer housing advice. So that's something I'm more than happy to provide support on. Of course, these things kind of are a bit of a downer, because you kind of would only approach the advice service if something's wrong. But if you want to have just a chat and maybe something is going right and you are happy with something that you hear about your course, or you have suggestions, you can come speak to me as well. Especially if there are things, for example, that you feel could change in your course, I can always pass that on to the relevant officers, as well as kind of any of the relevant staff members within HISA. So if you can go on to the next slide, please. So as I mentioned there, the advice service, you can contact us very easily. We are mainly available through an email, so heisa.advice@uhi.ac.uk. The website, which I kind of threw in the chat, which you can link and have a look through. There's a lot of self-help information there. So if you're not comfortable maybe speaking to someone straight away and you want to see if maybe there's information out there already, click on that. I've put in as much information as I can. The housing bit is coming along. That, because it is relatively new, will be coming up on the website soon. But certainly you can contact us by popping into one of the offices if you're on any campus, if we have an office there. One of the local staff members will get you in touch with me. Or of course, you can drop me a text to the advice service mobile. So again, only exclusively seen by me. And the number's there on the screen as well. And you can also view that on the information on the website. I'll be sticking around a little bit longer. If you have any questions or anything in particular that you'd want to chat with me about, just drop me a message on Teams, or again, just drop me an email and I'm happy to arrange an appointment with you as well. That's great. Thanks, guys. I'll pass this back to your amazing hosts.
Thank you very, very, very much, Elena, for that wonderful information. You're not going to hear from me for much longer because I'm actually going to pass it back over to someone else. I'm going to pass it over to Emma now, who's going to speak a little bit about clubs and societies. So I get to put my feet up a little bit, and so does Shannon. So over to you, Emma.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Emma Miller. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for HISA, which means I look after all the clubs and societies and sporting and volunteering and the networks. And I do quite a bit of work around equality, diversity, and inclusion as well. So I'm going to kind of talk you through a little bit about our clubs and societies. And here's the great thing, that like, even though you're online students, you might be close to one of our campuses across the partnerships. And if that's the case, you can absolutely join the clubs and societies at that location, whatever is closest to you. They are open to all students. Welcome to all students. And they often include also some community members, but that's really up to each club or society to determine. They are 16 and up for our clubs and societies. So we've got sports clubs, we've got online groups, we have all sorts of really kind of great options. And if you don't see something that speaks to you, you can absolutely start your own. So here's just a picture of a few of our societies. We have a computing society, we have a Christian union, we have several kind of academic or subject-based societies like the Murray Art and Design Society, for example. We've got an Islamic society. We have a Living History Society at Orkney that does kind of ancient crafts, which is really cool. A new dance society, a pantry, a labor society. There's a wide range of clubs or societies that you could join or start up. Basically, any hobby, fandom, political group, social club, art thing that you can think of, as long as it's legal, and as long as it's not going to put your lives in immediate danger, and as long as it's not offensive, you can basically make that happen here. So it's really kind of up to you and what you like. We have a soup club that just started, a soup society. I hear a rumor of like a Taylor Swift appreciation society. Really, you can get quite creative. We also have quite a lot of sports clubs. And again, if you are local to a campus, because the sports clubs all meet in person, obviously. So if you're local to a campus or an academic partner that has a sports club there, you can absolutely join it. We are really looking for Shinty players. So if any of you are Shinty players or would like to be Shinty players, drop me a message in this chat. our Shinty team we put together last year for the first time, and it went on to win the Little John Vase in St. Andrews, which is amazing. And our sports clubs, some of them are competitive and have been competing and winning some tournaments with Scottish Student Sports. And some of them are non-competitive, things like snow sports or paddle sports or hill walking. That are more about getting out there and doing these activities. Some of them even take trips. And they are just a phenomenal way to get some physical activity going on with a bunch of friends. So again, if you are close to a campus or a location, please join those. And same thing with our societies. However, we also do online groups. So, you could be in a different country, for example, or you could be way south. And so going to a campus doesn't make a lot of sense for a club. So we also have online societies, and we're really keen to develop more of these. So this year, currently, we've got esports online gaming for all of those who are into their Nintendo Switch, or PlayStation, or all the other gaming things. We've got a Dungeons and Dragons Society that does online games for new people as well as advanced players. They also, I believe, are starting a text game, which is pretty cool. We've got the Chess Club, Online Chess Club. We've got the Postgraduate Research Student Society. So I know there's a postgraduate in the chat. And that is new and is looking at creating a community to connect all of our postgrads together, to talk about their needs, but also to talk about your studies and talk about fun things and all that good stuff. And then we really would love for you guys to start some more clubs or societies if that's something you're interested in. We provide tons of support, and I'll tell you about that in a second. One of the things we are hoping to do this year, especially if they are desired by you guys and you're interested in them, is to do some online drop-in study sessions where basically you get online together and you do your homework and you kind of keep each other motivated. Maybe you ask for help or proofreading to check something out, but it's just a way to kind of study, do your work alongside other people also studying and doing their work, and also drop in social sessions. So if you guys stick around after the presentation, we're going to play some online games. And so we'll be looking into doing some more of that kind of just fun online, chance to relax and meet people. We also do some workshops. We did some last year around consent and I forget another one we did. Anyway, sorry. We do sometimes we'll do online workshops as well. So that's kind of a one more option to increase your student community as online students and to kind of give you lots of options for socializing, having fun, supporting your studies, all of that. So outside the traditional clubs, societies, sports, in-person, online, we also have something called student networks. And these were brand new last year, and they are still kind of developing as more students join. And the networks are standing or permanent groups for students who may not be represented in the different clubs and societies, or may their learning and student experience might be affected by an identity factor. For example, yourselves as online students, that changes your student experience to some extent. So we've got the Digital Students Network, that's for online students and network students. We have the International Students Network, Neurodiversity Students Network, the Pride Student Network, the Accessibility Network for students with access needs and disabilities, the Students of Color Network, and the Women's Network. So all of these are currently on Discord, which is a great online platform. But we're also working on developing the groups that want to have like a WhatsApp group chat, maybe a Teams chat, so that there are other ways to engage that are kind of good for everyone. So if you give me 2 seconds, let's see here. We'll come back to the, Holly's going to talk a little bit more about online community and maybe some ideas for what you might want to do in an online community, such as the Digital Students Network, or if you create kind of an online group with friends. In the networks, we do a lot of stuff online, but then we also have local, we might do a Pride event at a local campus. So we kind of do both in person and online. So for our clubs and societies, they really depend on you students to start things. And then we provide basically all the support that you could require. We're really happy and excited to work with you. So basically, to create a club or society, all you need is a couple friends. So you find a couple friends that will be your committee members, right? And we'll provide all that training, and they can change over time if you have someone come in who wants to take over a role. And you basically get your friends and you fill out this form. And I will put, in a minute, I'll put some links in the chat as well that you have them. And you decide what you want your club to be about. You say your committee members, you write a little description. If you want to charge fees, you can. We don't require that, but sometimes it's good to charge a little bit of a fee so that you can then do something financially with that. And then you just fill out this little application and we get you started, get you going. And then we will give you all the training you need. We can book spaces for you. If you're going to be on campus, we can help you set up online spaces. We have a grant that your clubs and societies can apply for. So for example, if you were going to do an online Paranoia group, that's a RPG, a role-playing game, you might want a little bit of money to buy the online version of Paranoia and be able to share it. You could apply for that in the grant. And really, if you want to start a group but are like, oh, I don't know if I can, I don't know how, that doesn't matter, because we will help you. We'll give you all the support you can possibly deal with, and then you'll be like, leave me alone, I just want to run things, because we get really excited about it. So if there's the will, then we will help you find the way, no problem. So I will put these links for like where you can find how to start a club, etc., in the chat in a minute. There's one more thing we're doing this year that's new, which is a survey of interests, because what we really want to know is what students want and what they want to do. And so we can then use all that information to create more activities, to help you create societies or clubs, to put on socials for online students, etc. So we've got this little survey. I'll put the link here in the chat as well. You can just go on there, put that you're an online student, and tick off anything that you'd be interested in. If you put your email or student number in it, then if we're going to host that one particular thing you're interested in, let's say, I'll email you. But only I have those emails, and they'll only be used to contact you about the specific things you've marked off. Now, if you put your student email, you're also going to get your regular emails. But for this particular survey, I will only be contacting you about what you check off on the survey. So now I'm gonna, bloop. Sorry, before I move on, does anyone have any questions? Basically, we have lots of stuff going on, but we really want to get the online students involved, and we really want to make lots of activities and stuff for you. Emily, I can see you have a question.
Hi. I'm doing a master's online with you guys. So I'm all the way down in Northampton, so very long way away.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to sort of get involved online and join in. I've just tried to register on the um the Students Association page, having a bit of difficulty. Um, so I've kind of tried to
So,
register my account, and it's just kind of
yeah.
not
So
like
if
yeah,
Yeah, if that's it's not your fault. It has to do with kind of data and where we are in the year with online students registering, etc. I'm going to put an email here. It's just our HISA comms. I think it was at the very beginning as well.
yeah,
And if you just drop them a line, they will help you. So it's HISA.comms. And if you have kind of additional trouble or any questions, you can always reach out to HISA and we'll redirect to get the best person to answer any questions you have. But comms will help you with the registration for sure.
great, thank you. Because like I said, I really would like to get involved, even though I'm miles away. Because it's obviously you know, a bit difficult to get involved when you're nowhere nearby. But you know, the fact that you were doing like an online freshers thing was great. Because I saw it come up in my email, and I was like, oh great, I can actually like get some kind of freshers experience, even though I'm not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is fantastic because it's obviously like explaining everything, and I'm not just reading it on a page.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
That's
is great.
awesome.
I'd like to you know, obviously like, you know, like I said, get involved with like elections and the clubs and stuff if I can and things. So thank you.
Great. That's awesome. Uh, and yeah, once we get you rocking and rolling on there, then you should be able to sign up for things. I am going to put a direct link to the the Digital Students Network. I'll put that in chat, which is on Discord. And that link will only be good for 7 days. So you can find the long-term one if you sign in through the website. But this, you know, as you're processing, you might kind of choose to do this direct route for that bit. Great. Are there any more questions before we move on? No? Okay. You can ask us some more in a bit if they come up. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute or two. Uh, And our wonderful officer Holly is going to talk to you about creating an online community.
Hello everyone, I'm Holly. I am Inverness Deputy President, but I'm also a student. I'm a single honour student doing criminology. And I'm here to talk to you today about creating an online community and why it's so important. From personal experience, not having an online community is very lonely when I did my studies last year. So this is why I brought the idea up to have an online freshers, and here we are with it today. So being involved in an online community isn't just something that you can do as a network student. It doesn't have to be within your course, but it can be with anyone from any course. And some ways to be involved with an online community are creating your own club or society, like Emma suggested, joining one of our networks, asking your lecturer to create a space on their Brightspace module for you to be able to communicate with one another. This one I've had before, and it was so great to be able to communicate with other people. And starting your own groups on social media like Discord, like we have already, Instagram, or WhatsApp. This year, I am involved in WhatsApp groups, and it's the best thing ever. I'm so involved with the other people in my year, and it is the best thing. Or even better, in the chat, I'm going to put a link to the Menti that you can all do. Just give me 2 seconds. Emma, I think I'm going to need you to stop sharing your screen so I can share mine. Perfect. Can we see that? Yes, perfect. There's the code at the top, if you can do that, or the QR code at the side. I'll give everyone a few minutes to log in. Can someone in the chat let me know if we're ready to go, or like a thumbs up?
There's currently about 7 people in the waiting room.
Okay, are we ready to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, perfect, okay. It does say none of these options are correct, but that is a correct option. For some reason, it's not working, but I do see all the responses. But I will move on to the next one. Can you guys see the results? Yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
6 went for both, and 1 person went for online study space, which is, well, it's definitely what I needed to hear. So I'm going to move on to the next question now. I'd love to see the range of students that we have here from different places around the academic partners. Perfect. Next question. More advertising. Got 1 response. Oh, online freebies. I like the sound of that one. Perfect. So we've got things like more advertising. UHI and HISA create something, I think that says. Help us meet each other, more activities, more online events. And that's exactly what we want to hear. And from these results that I've gotten, that is what we are going to do. And that is the end of my presentation, so I'm going to stop sharing now. And I'm going to pass on to, I believe,
Me.
William. Emma, passing
Someone.
back,
You
passing it
just
back,
can't get rid of me.
passing it back.
I think it's me. It may
Might
be
be
William.
me. It might be back to me.
Like me.
Hold on.
Oh no,
Look,
it might be you. It
We're-
might be someone. Emma, I think it's back to you.
William.
If it's D&D, it might be back to you, Emma.
Oh yeah. Okay. So one of the things we wanted to do is to trial some online fun things to start you out with as like freshers events. And one of the coolest things you can do online, at least I think so, because I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, is play RPGs online, role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. It's a big trend right now. And it's super fun, whether or not you've ever played before. If you've never played, but like you've heard about it and you think, oh, this might be fun, we have the game for you. So we're running 2 sessions, but if we have lots of sign up, because each session can only be about 5 or 6 players. If we have lots of signups, we'll just add some more sessions. So we're doing starting out next week. So on Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., we're going to have the game for people who are either brand new to D&D or have only played a little bit. So you will start out in a tavern. You will be given pre-generated characters that you can then embellish. And our wonderful Scarlett will teach you D&D and play a game with you. And so that'll be lots of fun. All you need to do is to sign up so that we can email you with your character sheets and the login stuff, and you will be good to go for that game. The second game, which takes place the next day, Thursday, will be from 6 to 9 p.m. So we're doing it an hour later so that if you can't, we're trying to figure out like a good time, especially for online students. So we're kind of, changing the times a little bit in the hopes that if you can't do one, you might be able to do the other. So the second one on Thursday is for level 5 characters. And so this game is for people who have played before. And you will bring with you a level 5 character that you have created using any of the official Dungeons and Dragons content. And I will be hosting that one. And no spoilers about what the story and the gameplay will look like. I'm sure there will be lots of defeating scary monsters and things like that. So we just asked for you to sign up. So you can also do it by emailing at HISA Activities, and we'll get you signed up. But this is also the form here, and I will put that link into the chat. And the form is just kind of which one are you signing up for? What's your email so we can contact you so that we can do these games next week. And they'll be really great. And if you really want to, but you can't make it, go ahead and send me an email. Let me know. We've got a Dungeons and Dragons club, online club that you could join. And also if there's interest, maybe we'll keep hosting these. So that's just our fun little event for next week before we get into our kind of final fun stuff here. So I'll let William take you through.
Thank you very much. So this is the last little bit here. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to the slides part of this. So as you can see here, this is a bit of information. our website, tons of links have been put in the chat. Awesome. Pew, pew, pew. Lots of links. Also, we have Facebook. If you go at your SA at UHI, it'll take you to our Facebook, but also the same on Twitter. And then we have Spotify as well. So if you wanted to get some student association vibes, yes. We have Spotify, and we also have YouTube as well, where we put up kind of like our welcome videos and things like that. So if you can't find it on Brightspace for that, most likely it will also get put up on YouTube, any videos that we kind of do as well. And the main thing where we advertise a lot of our events and that locally, and our online events as well, is on Instagram. So as you can see on the right hand side, it has all the list of the Instagram handles depending on what academic partner you go to. Our online events and that get shared across all of them. So if you are an online student, you can look at all of them for online events, but also on Facebook, the online events get put on there anyways. So you can just look on the Facebook or the Twitter. So plenty of options for ways to find out on all the events that are happening.